I'm Dr. Frank Cadle, and taking advantage of the new year to kind of, that looks a little broader than usual. Take a new look at the Get Fit and Be Lean program. On December 31st of 2020, I was over 250 pounds. I had really gained a lot of weight through the stress of my career and moving and raising a family. And I really was suffering from the effects of overeating and a sedentary lifestyle. And when I say suffering, I mean that I would get short of breath just tying my shoes. I had given up a lot of the activities that I really enjoyed, hunting and camping and cycling and skiing. And so I decided to make a change. And when I made that decision, welcome Josh Evers, #1 gifter. Thanks for joining. Although it's not hard to be my #1 gifter because I don't get a lot of gifters. So I made a decision, and I based the actions on that decision on peer-reviewed, published research in the nutritional field. And so what I tried to do was carry that information to my followers as I built my TikTok following and published videos on pretty much a daily basis on what I was eating and what kind of exercises I was doing. But I didn't really talk much about the impact that obesity had on me, getting short of breath, just tying my own shoes, not fitting in any of my clothes, impact on making love to my wife, impact on going out and doing the things that I wanted to do, skiing. I had really given up a lot. And in fact, there were a couple of particular episodes that really concretely made this obvious to me and helped me make a decision to make a change. And one of those was going scuba diving. And I love scuba diving. Now, I learned how to scuba dive in the Caribbean, where it's quite warm. And so you're in a pair of swim trunks in your tank. And then I came out here in the Pacific, where you don't dive without a wetsuit. And initially, we weren't diving off of a boat. We were diving off of the shoreline. And so I had to put the wetsuit on, put the gear on, walk down to the beach. And by the time I had done that, I was so short of breath, I could not put the regulator in my mouth. I couldn't get enough breath to put the regulator in my mouth. And I was able to do a little bit of scuba diving off of the boat the next day, but I wasn't able to do any of the shore dive that I had already paid for and gotten the equipment for. And then later on, I was traveling with my youngest child. We went up to Joshua Tree, one of my favorite places, and went out for a hike. It wasn't that rugged of a hike, but I got about halfway around and I just couldn't make it. I just had to stop and turn around and go back. And so I made a decision to pursue the Get Fit and Be Lean program. And I started with simple calisthenics. The gyms were closed at the time because of COVID. Heart rate. Yes, I'm going to talk about heart rate as a data point. But COVID vaccine, yes, you should definitely get it. I'm not doing a lot of the question and answer stuff here. I do that on a pretty regular basis throughout the week. But I do want to talk a little bit about the Get Fit and Be Lean program. And I started with calisthenics because the gymnasiums were closed. And actually, this year I came up with no gym January because I've been to the gyms in January before, and it's a real zoo. And in fact, there are a number of videos and memes out there making fun of people who come to the gym in January. And that's why I've really encouraged people start with simple calisthenics, sit-ups, push-ups, jumping jacks. I could do maybe 5 push-ups, half a dozen sit-ups, and a dozen jumping jacks. But I did them every other day. I did them 3 or 4 times a week, and I continued to do them. I developed a routine. And that's what I really try to carry as far as a message about how to really pursue this, is as a routine. And slowly I was able to increase to 4 or 5, even 6 days a week. And then I was able to add additional exercises until I was working every major muscle group in the body. And by doing this, I was able to develop a routine where I didn't purchase any equipment. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't have any enrollment or membership or subscription. I just I bought a mat. I did spend about $16 on a sit-up mat because I got some sores in my butt doing sit-ups on the ground. But other than that, I just didn't want to waste a bunch of money. I've had the $600 treadmill coat rack that you stumble over for years and finally get rid of before you have to move. I didn't want to get involved in that. I didn't want to set up a gym in my bedroom. But what I did was I got to where I was working every major muscle group in the body. I added a brisk walk. I then doubled the whole exercise back to front. And I did almost all of this on TikTok. You can scroll back through my profile. You can see my videos, and you can see the change that occurs in me over 2021, 2022. And so I combined this because I wasn't just trying to get in shape. I was trying to actually lose weight. And I combined this with a portion control diet. And the reason that I use portion control is I really believe that portion creep and the increase in portion sizes plays a huge role in the obesity that we see today. Sorry about that. The super size me, the mega meals, the grand slam breakfast, all of this stuff ends up in people getting way more than they need to eat for any single meal. And by doing that, you stretch your stomach and you change your visual cues as far as hunger and satiety are concerned. And so as I did this, I put links up in, I'm going to get rid of that just a second. Sorry about that. I put links on my Twitter account to the articles that I use to kind of rationalize the approach that I make. And I do that because there's a lot of misinformation out there about nutrition, real clowns doing dangerous things, and I think putting people at risk. And so I did this on a pretty regular basis. I have a PubMed bibliography that I make available through links on my profiles. And I instituted the 2 veggie goal, 2 servings of raw or steamed vegetables with lunch and 2 servings with dinner. And that's about the most specific food change that I made. And as my satiety increased, as my stomach shrank, I expanded my repertoire of leafy green vegetables that I eat to include things like broccoli rabe and kale and arugula and fennel. And I started losing weight, and I lost. You can see the graph up here. On a regular basis, I lost on an ongoing basis throughout the year. And I lost more than 5 inches off my waist. I lowered my cholesterol by more than 20 points. I lowered my systolic blood pressure by over 20 millimeters of mercury. And yes, my resting heart rate. I lowered my resting heart rate by about 30 beats a minute. So then what happened was I tried to promote this, and really get it out there. And immediately my account blew up and I had 75,000 followers. But I feel like I've kind of lost touch with some of that, and I've had a hard time following up and really building on that success. So my goal is to write a book about this process and not get caught up in arguing with the carnivore guys who are just, eating butter testicle sandwiches and weird things like that, and the keto guys and all of it. I didn't eliminate any food groups. I didn't use any cleanses, any supplements, any kind of parasite purges or chlorophyll drops. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff on the internet with minimal to no scientific background. I mean, it just doesn't have any justification for its use. And so I'm going to try, as this year goes in, I'm going to try to show you why I use calisthenics. They're free. You can do them anywhere. They can be adjusted to the individual's abilities. You can start out, if you can't do sit-ups, you just do crunches. If you can't do jumping jacks, just raise your hands in the air. And to encourage people to move, walk, hike, cycle, jog, swim, rollerblade, whatever it takes to get you moving. Get out there. And I found that for me, being online was a benefit because it held me responsible. It really kept me accountable to the account, to the people that were following me. And so it was easier to photograph every meal, which is not really my natural tendency, and to put this stuff out on the internet, which is kind of a previous generation thing. Haven't done that before. I've had accounts on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram for years, but it wasn't until I started this program January 1st of 2022 and lost more than 20% of my body weight that I began posting on a regular basis. And I've gotten some really good feedback. I've gotten some negative feedback. The feedback makes a big difference. It really does help. I get most of that on TikTok, so that's where I'm the most active. So seed oils. Oh my gosh. You know what? Fry your food and whatever. You know what I really care about when it comes to a frying oil? I care about the temperature at which it fries, because that determines how you're going to cook your food, how fast it's going to cook. I could care less about seed oils. I don't demonize food. I don't demonize sugar, sodas, candy. I don't demonize any of that stuff, because you're going to eat it. A diet needs to be something that you have, not something you're on, because if you're on it, you're going to get off of it. And that's when you're going to really have a hard time maintaining the process. And I think that maintenance and consistency and persistence are the most important things. All right, so let's see. Number one gifter badge. Congratulations, Josh. Thank you so much. The COVID-19 vaccine. Yes, you should get the COVID. You should have already had it. You should have had a booster. I've had 2 COVID vaccines and a booster. Intermittent fasting, I am not a fan. I don't recommend it, but if you want to do it, that's fine. Do what you want. So heart rate, yes, heart rate is one of the vital signs. Okay, there's only 3 or 4 of them, and pain is not one of them. Okay, if anybody asks you, pain is not a vital sign. It's not a sign at all. It's a symptom. But I'm talking to myself. No, I'm talking to Wake Up. I'm talking to me. I'm talking to Groovy. I'm talking to a lot of folks here. So yeah, cocaine will make you lose weight, but it's a heavy price to pay, and it's not much different than some of the other supplements that I see for sale online. Thank you, John, for joining. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everybody that joined the live. Thank you so much for coming. I do impromptu kind of catch-all lives for Q&As throughout the week, and I'm going to try to really get back to my regular weekly lives. And I hope that you guys will follow me. I hope you'll check me out. I'm on Instagram. I'm on, I guess I'm on, what's that new one with the elephant thing? Mammoth? No, Mastodon. But I haven't really done anything there. But I'm mostly on TikTok. That's where I'm most active. But I do tweet almost daily. And those are usually, I think, the most scientifically related posts that I make, because I include links to the articles that I'm quoting so that you can know that this is valid information. Okay, so with that, I think I'm going to sign off and try to catch the game.